There are a lot of possible ending scenarios for Digital Circus, and most of them are tragic. Literally everything we're seeing right now is building up to that. There's complete chaos going on inside the Digital Circus. The tent is partially destroyed. The characters no longer have that same understanding between each other. All of them are depressed, and Jax is basically on the verge of completely losing his mind. In this scene, we can see how quickly the days inside the system are flashing by, which only adds more proof to the theory that there won't be any happy ending. To be honest, I don't really believe a story this complicated and messy is going to end on a positive note either. However, right now it's impossible to say anything for sure, and even though I'm 99.9% sure the characters won't be able to solve the biggest problem in their lives by the end, there's still that 0.1% chance that could change everything. Before we start, let's immediately establish that Kane and Bubble aren't coming back. Even if the characters themselves want to bring Kane back, the system itself won't allow it, because if you really dive deep into that scene with the so-called Digital Circus code, you can tell the system deleted Kane on its own. For us to actually get a happy ending, a bunch of different factors would have to line up at once, and the biggest ones are slowing down the destruction of the circus, bringing back the old atmosphere within the group, and of course the simple fact that an exit actually exists. Going back to that same scene, we understand that a decent amount of time has passed since Kane got deleted, and absolutely nothing happened to the tent or the Digital Circus locations. Most likely the system managed to temporarily stop this process. Since we know that the void is actually the system itself, while the Digital Circus and everything connected to it is Kane's creation, the system probably won't be able to keep the circus in even this condition for very long. That makes the situation a bit more complicated. However, it's still the smallest problem out of all of them, because even if the destruction starts again, the system will still try to minimize it. Things are way more complicated when it comes to the characters. In the trailer, we can see that literally every single one of them is either completely lost at best, or on the verge of abstraction at worst. Even Pomni, who had been taking all the responsibility on herself lately, eventually gave up. I'm absolutely sure this is only temporary, cause we already saw something similar at the beginning of episode 8, just on a smaller scale. Objectively, the biggest problem is the very existence of an exit itself. On one hand, in the pilot episode, they directly showed us that after crossing the entire territory of the void, we end up near the computer with the headset that Pomni used to enter the Digital Circus. If you watched my previous videos, then you already know I talked about how the void is actually the system itself, and once a character enters it, they lose control over themselves, which basically condemns them to wander forever with only the tiniest chance that after dozens of years, they'll eventually end up in the right place. It's important to keep in mind the condition of the characters' bodies in the real world, and most likely they're already dead. However, today we're talking strictly about a happy ending, which means let's assume they're all currently inside stasis pods, and after returning from the Digital Circus, their consciousness in the real world will start functioning again. But what if there's some other way to escape the Digital Circus?